Yes, thank you so much for joining us. And Major Discoveries is your destiny worth it? My name is David Ferrero. I'm from Oral Roberts University, and this is Christina. You want to introduce yourself?
Yes, can you go to the next slide, please?
Of course.
I'm Christina Stark, and I'm the Director of International Affairs here at NMMI, and I am currently the PGSO of our school. I was born and raised in Brazil and was an international student myself. So I think I've experienced firsthand everything that an international student goes through. I have a bachelor's degree in education and a master's degree in psychology. And I've been working with international education over 15 years here in the United States, as I've moved here about 16 years ago. And I am responsible for developing new programs and for international student service at NMMI.
Awesome, great. And again, my name is David. I'm the Senior National Admissions Representative here at Oral Roberts University. Is born in the U.S. and traveled to many countries. I'm finishing my MBA in leadership here in August, and my wife was an international student here at ORU, and that's how we met. I was fortunate enough to have dual citizenship, not have to go through the F1 visa process, but now helping students go through all of that, and also through different visa applications. So glad to be here and glad to be working with you, Christina. So
yeah, likewise. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about your journey as an international student coming to the United States. So each international student, each journey is quite different from one another. If we think we are just so unique and we have our different expectations, our different plans for our future, and we should make our college and university journey as unique as we are. So the beauty of studying in the United States is the fact that you can be and you can study anything you want to. There are so many opportunities. In the United States, going to attending a higher education institution will definitely expand your world, will give you so many different perspectives. You might come with an idea, and throughout your process as attending a school here, you might change your mind. So that's one of the things, for example, in Brazil, if you start studying education or psychology, as I did, if you decide to change your major or your career, your future plans, you would have to restart your whole program. And here in the United States, it's extremely different. So it gives you this flexibility that's so important. Next slide, please. So here's some of the things that we'll cover today: how to research and find the fit for you, a timeline when you should be working on your documentation, submitting application, and all this, everything about studying in the US, such as majors, minors, changing your majors or minors, working on and off campus, all the opportunities that you have, life after graduation, preparing yourself to come to the States. We'll just briefly touch the impacts of immigration on all the laws that we have here in place, transferring programs. For example, my institution is a junior college. We offer a junior college program. So it's an associate's degree, and then how you can transfer to another institution, such as the one represented here by David. Also, the sky's the limit, just seek for all the opportunities available. And what happens when you do not secure a US visa? Next slide, please. So there are many types of colleges and universities here in the United States. Community college, you might be familiar with. Let's say our junior college program is under the community college that awards you associate's degree. Technical college, baccalaureate college, for-profit, non-profit, tribal college, military institutes, private and public universities, research universities, master granting universities, doctoral universities. And then we also have the special focus institutions where some are liberal arts, law, military focus, faith-based, medical schools, engineering schools. So there are so many options. So it's very important that you're familiar and very aware of all the opportunities and possibilities you have as attending U.S. institution, educational institution. Next, please.
Yeah, and I think the options are really kind of overwhelming. There's so many different things to consider, and you really have to ask yourself, what am I going to be doing 20 years from today? What is it that you picture yourself doing? What are you interested in studying? Really, that's what you're asking yourself is what do I want to be doing in the future? So some of the things that we can look at for program specifics is your major and your future occupation. They're not necessarily identical. A major is a specified area of study consisting from 30 to 50% of your full degree plan. And a minor is an area of academic concentration, and it doesn't require as many classes, and it shows up on your diploma. So proper planning can make use of this option, but no, you don't have to do both. You don't have to do major and a minor. However, including a minor does give you a broader sense of the field you have chosen to study. For example, if you're a major of pre-actuary mathematics with a minor in finance, you'll prepare you not just for an actuary position, but the ability to work in the finance sector with your degree. So there's really a lot of different things that you can do with that. You can maybe do a major in business with a minor in music production. We have a lot of those here out of where you, or maybe you wanted to do dance, but you're a nursing major. We've even had students that are crazy enough to do something like that. So there's really a lot of things that you can do to combine both of those things. Some other things that we can look at is, when should I declare my major? If you meet the admissions requirements, you're usually going to be admitted to the institution. Some majors, you're not admitted to the program immediately, and you really need to complete certain classes, units, or credits with a certain GPA in order to be admitted into that program. And some majors could be declared immediately, like need to be declared immediately, like engineering, nursing, education, biomedical chemistry, and it depends according to the campus and that university institution. They may have some differences, but most of the time for careers and majors that are that specific and require that many classes, you want to declare that and have that early on. So as an F1 or J1 visa holder student, you must also declare a major. However, in the US, you can always change your major to meet your requirements to whatever major you want to do. The consequences of changing majors or declaring a major late in the US, visa officers may not think that you're ready to study in the US and can deny your US visa request and request you to apply when you are ready and you know exactly what you want to study. That may also require longer time for you studying in the university. May instead of graduating in 3 or 4 years, you're going to graduate in 5 or 6 years, and that's a lot more money that you need to spend on tuition as well. The other thing is the double major versus a dual major, right? So double major is a major in 2 degrees in different fields. So a Bachelor of Arts in Communication plus a Bachelor of Science in International Business. Some schools require students to have a thesis and a project as to why the majors integrate well, and only a few classes overlap on the degree plans, making the length of the university study a lot longer. The dual major is 1 degree in 2 different concentrations, meaning the Bachelor of Science in International Business and Communication. So it could be something that kind of aligns a lot better. And many times the degree plans, they overlap with extra classes being completed within the department elective spots. Majors are not trophies. Having more More of them does not make you better. Double majoring narrows possibilities of classes to choose from, and having the best professors available to fit your cramped schedule. Let double majoring be the effect, not the cause, of your passions created by your interests and abilities.
Okay, so when you think about your core, your general education requirements, so you will, those are courses that all students have to take prior to um, choosing, deciding on a major. So it will give you a broad foundational education in many areas. And that's exactly what we do here at NMMI. So you'll have the general education. So you will have the major courses, as David was explaining. You have concentrations. So you have those major courses that you're going to choose, and then you have the elective courses. So when you think about the career you want, the path you want to go. So it's very important that you talk to your academic counselor to make the proper decision, so your transition will be a very smooth one. Next slide, please. So when you think about liberal arts and professional majors, the highlights of what you have to think about a liberal art degree, a liberal arts will give you a very broad based education in the skills that you will need in critical thinking. So you can choose from a number of different career paths or advanced degrees based on the experience and skills and also your interest. What is the majors? They don't necessarily lead you to a specific career. And the professional degrees, that is what's going to lead you to a specific degree. Next slide, please. So what are you going to do with all the philosophy, history, literature degree, you might think? Well, just think about the value of liberal arts, the critical thinking skills. Whenever you are in a higher education, it will really challenge you unexpectedly. You will not just take notes and memorize everything, but it will give you the ability to see the same situation in different perspectives. When you think about problem solving skills, just think you will be working on your assignments with different people from different areas, different cultures, background, and it will require intelligence in a problem solving skills. When you think about the research and writing skills, so when you have to research um, any subject or do the research for your program, you will be writing quite a bit, more than 140 characters, so that even thinking about the thesis statement, that will really help you in the future in the business world. So think about the marketplace value of that. How employable will you be? What is the value of that? Longevity, so is it enjoyable long term? You have to really think about your profession, the future that you're choosing for yourself, but not really based only on the salary that you will have. Next slide.
But yeah, one of the questions you have to ask yourself is, does my major have to relate to a specific career? And no, the answer is not necessarily. I mean, most majors don't even lead to a specific job. There are exceptions, and some 80% of workers in the U.S. are in a career field that's not directly related to the major that they had when they studied. So the average person changes their career fields 2 to 3 times in a lifetime. I changed mine 5 times. So, I mean, I still graduated in 3.5 years, so made it work. But it was something that you have to consider. I mean, a college degree satisfies most entry-level job qualifications, regardless of that major. 20 to 50% of students begin their career as undecided or exploratory students. So while you're taking your general education classes your first year, those are kind of their try-on classes, if you will, and the general area where you're interested in. For example, if you want to do something in business, you take marketing, you take management or advertising courses to really know where you want to focus in that field. So luckily for me, when I changed my major so many times, they were all in the field of business. So I didn't have to start all over, just continue where I was based off, because I would do marketing. It's like, oh, I don't know if I necessarily want to focus on that. And then um, I would do management, and I knew I didn't want to focus on that, and end up focusing on international business. And so that's something that you really want to figure out as soon as possible. You want to get to know your academic advisor very well, and set bi-monthly appointments with them. So even if it's just to talk through ideas with their professional opinion, some of what they've gone through. Christina has gone through a lot, and she'd be a person that you would want to connect with and see, well, if you were me, what would you do if you were in this situation and you wanted to study this career? Would you do this major? So, a lot of these professionals, they have a lot of experience in these areas, and you want to rely on their expertise. You want to know the process involved in selecting a major or changing the major, ensure the outcome of the requirements is something that you were ready for, and like the time required, along with the investment of finances. And you need to be able to explain your major to anyone. Seriously, if you can't, you might not be in the right major. If you don't know what biomedical chemistry is, then maybe you shouldn't be studying that. Maybe you should focus on something else that you like a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. And make sure you're absolutely passionate about what you do. As David was saying, he has changed his career path many times, and so did I. But every skill that you acquire throughout your education career here in the United States is extremely relevant and valuable for whatever you decide to do, whatever you're passionate about. So when you think about how to research and find the perfect fit for you, well, you have to have a checklist and make sure that what is really important to you. So we are all different, so is funding an issue for you? So look for schools that have substantial scholarships to offer to international students. What about the location? Do you want to live in a bigger city, a smaller city, more rural area? So what's the size of the campus? Does it matter to you? You can go to a huge campus. We have many here in the States, but you can also go to a smaller campus. What about the cost? So who will be funding your education? Your parents? Are you having loans? And, so what are the programs that you're interested in? Check the rankings for the school. Are they not overall like, oh, the best school is this one or that one, but for the specific major that you're looking for? What about safety? Now with COVID, there's so many things to consider. Will the school support you as needed? What kind of international student support you will have? What about job placements? Where are the students graduating from the school that you're attending going to? What are they doing? What about the return on your investment? Think about the application process. Is it like a simple process? Will you have assistant from the international department to support you throughout the process? Because it can be a little daunting. It's so different. What about the possibility or probability of securing the US visa? Will the school support you with that? Not only with documentation, but guidance, so you can go through the process and not in a very turbulent way, but in a very smooth way. Will they give you all the support that you need? What about funding? How much can your family support you with? How much scholarship can you get once you apply to that school? As I said, location. Do you want to live in a bigger city, a rural city, a metropolitan city? If you think about location, you have to also think about the living expenses. How much more expensive will that be? So if money is not a matter for you, well, just think about all the amenities that you might looking for. So where do you want to live? In our case, we are a boarding school, so all of our students live on our campus. Others are not. So will you be able to live off campus? What will be the cost? Will you have groceries around where you live? Will you be eating on campus? Do you want to have a bigger community from the same area, the same country you come from? Again, think about the costs. Will you be able to afford without scholarships? How much scholarship do you need? What about the application process? Will you need all the tests? So many of us, so many of our schools require English proficiency tests or other tests to attend the master's and PhD programs that are offered. How much will that cost? Will you be able to take a TOEFL test now? What other tests are the schools accepting? What about application? Do you have to pay for an application? Can they waive the application fee? How often does the cost for that attending that school will increase? Again, living on campus or off campus. And how expensive are all the fees embedded in your program? So these are some of the things that you have to take into consideration. So having a checklist and going through everything is extremely important for any of us.
Yeah, and just kind of continuing off of that, I mean, getting into the program, major, minor rankings, is your program available at that university? What are the rankings? Is the ranking important to you? Or the internship and work-related experiences with course credit, is that available at that university, at that institution? Do they have a well-known track record with that specific major that you want to study? Do they have maybe some students that you can ask to see, do you have any students that have gone to this specific company that's a pretty large company that's well known? A lot of universities do keep record on that, and the campus size. Was it a large campus or a small campus or a medium campus? Are there larger classrooms or smaller classrooms? What's the one-on-one attention for you? I mean, you are a person, not a number, right? Is that important to you? Can you be a bigger fish? A small pond, or a small fish in a large pond? What is it exactly that you want to be in as far as the environment goes for your university? What's the safety like on campus? Is that important to you? How important is safety? I think that's pretty important to everybody. What about the job placement? In your chosen field, how many students secure a job? What are the opportunities from that institution as far as internships or co-op programs or company networking sessions, or even just the connections and network that you get with the professors? What's the return on that investment that Christina was talking about? Is that program worth investing in? If you have a loan, how many years will it take for you to pay off the loan after securing your job in your specific field? So those are all things that we do need to consider. What is your earning potential once you graduate? Other thing is the application process, the application fees. A lot of schools will waive that fee, or they'll have a certain fee that they have for everybody. How many institutions am I going to apply for? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25? I mean, I don't know. So that's something you really have to determine, especially if they all have application fees. What are the application requirements for that specific school? Do they have a certain GPA that you need? Do they have test scores that you need? Do you need to take the SAT, ACT, or the GRE, or the GMAT? Do you need a personal statement, an essay, a recommendation letter, interviews? Those are all things you need to consider when you're trying to find the right institution for you. Also need to consider any down payments or deposits you need for that university application. Was there waitlisting for that specific university? What are the acceptance rates like? Do they accept the majority of students with a GPA above a certain GPA? Or is it likely that I'm not going to get accepted at all, just because I'm an international student, I'm applying so late. What's the transition help from the institution? Email, conversations, buddy programs for the visa interview, and after the visa interview, what about online virtual orientations or intent to enroll sessions? What are all those things? It's all something you have to consider. You're finding your fit, right? You're the institution for you, not for somebody else, not for your parents, but this is something that you're going to be at for 4 years, and it's really going to set the path for the rest of your life. So you want to choose the right one for you.
So what college should I choose versus what college is the best fit for me? So you have to really consider, as David mentioned, the choice is yours. It's not what it works best for your parents, for your friends, your cousins, your relatives, but what is the right college? Is it somebody else's choice because your parents have always dreamed of going to a certain area or attending a certain school? That does not necessarily mean that's the right choice for you. So the college with the best marketing, the US news, and when you think in the world's reports on number one pick, so is that really what should drive your decision? The college that I can afford, so I'll just go by the dollar amount and say, okay, this is one I can afford, so I'm going to go to that one. No, it's really not about finding the best college, but finding the best fit for you. It's all about finding what feels right for you. The right college is where you can be happy and successful. There's so many schools with areas where they are totally focused on student success. So check all the programs that are offered. Choose something that you are passionate about. You know, you have to be absolutely happy in getting up every day and being excited about going to class. Think about the school reputation. It doesn't have to be on the top 10 number one ranked schools in the United States. There are so many options that will just fit your path, your career path. Just have a backup plan. Like we said, we changed careers a couple of times. Just think, well, how come I started in education and then went into psychology, and now I'm working with international education? Well, just think how much I can use all the psychology, the skills that I learned in my psychology program as an international student advisor. Just consider everything you can learn and make sure are absolutely passionate about the decision you make.
That's good. That's good. I mean, best fit. How do you know? You got to do a self-assessment on who you are and what do you want to do? How hard have you worked in school? Does your GPA show it? How involved are you in the life of the school? What makes you special? What makes you unique? These are questions you have to ask yourself to really know what's the best fit for you. And the college assessment, you can narrow the field, create a working life list and a final list. A college selection. There are more than 4,000 degree granting institutions in the U.S. alone, right? And students usually more so students here in the U.S. apply to 4 to 8 different colleges. So there's a lot of different options for you, and you kind of got to get the started as early as you can. And so making that choice, I mean, you have to really choosing that major is your choice, and it's no one else's choice, and you have to live with that decision. So own it, even if you aren't paying the tab. Choose a major that is a process that takes an investment of time and work from you and no one else. Choosing something to study based upon someone else's ideas will not lead to happiness. Happiness is personal. So your choice of major should be personal as well. Every major has pros and cons, class sizes, advisement support, job placement, rates, etc. Right? So you have to choose for you, and there are safe majors that will typically always have a job somewhere, right? Mathematics, health sciences, business, education, computer and information sciences, and now we see nursing and that those are a lot of the ones that we see students always having, jobs after they graduate. So there's also versatility. Ensure you're learning the skills for a future job market, a practical skill set that you can build on as your future becomes our present. Or when you work hard at something, you become good at it. When you become good at something, you enjoy doing it more. When you enjoy doing something, there's a good chance you will become passionate about it as well. So something to really take into consideration there. Because you want that job, how do you work towards getting that job? Where are you investing your time and resources in your education? What exactly can you do in order to ensure you're getting that job? For a doctor here in the US, there's a set path. You know what steps you want to take, right? But say if you want to be an entrepreneur after you graduate, well, there's not really a set path. I mean, entrepreneurs do so many different things. There's in so many different sectors of business, and so you really want to start looking and doing some research and finding out specifically what you want to do and what area you want to do that in.
So think about the skills that are desired by employers. What will be the skills that you will be learning throughout your educational career? Again, we talked about changing careers many times throughout our lives. So what are they looking for? The communication skills, written and verbal, the honesty, integrity, teamwork skills. So all of those things you will learn throughout your program while attending school here in the States. Think about all the transferability of your skills that you will acquire throughout your education program. There are so many activities, so many clubs, extracurricular activities available in every single university in the United States. Make sure you are involved. Think about those skills that really, really matter to the career you want to choose. Be self-confident, know exactly where you are and where you want to be. Next slide, please. So explore your majors earlier. So check all the program requirements. If you have the opportunity, shadow somebody that has the career that you would dream for yourself. Interview people, do your research, volunteer to work in that area so you really feel like, is this something that I really like? What about internship? Are there internship opportunities in the area where you want to do? Take summer classes so you can test a little bit and see if that's exactly what you want to do. Talk to professionals who have the careers that you're interested in. Just think ahead, plan. It's a lot of investment, not only financial investment, but also your time, everything, all your energy. So make sure that at the end of your program, you are extremely happy. There's no better, I think, skills or possibilities for you to be extremely successful in what you do if you're absolutely passionate about it. Next slide, please.
Yeah, no, that's good. And I think some things to keep in mind, don't choose a major based on income potential alone. Right? College is a business decision and time and financial investment. And money doesn't buy happiness. Your career will consume at least 40 hours of your time every week. Don't let those 40 hours be dedicated to something that you're doing only for the money. Don't let authority figures influence you you too much. I mean, the influence can be positive or negative. Don't let someone discourage you from from a challenging major just because they think it is challenging for them. You know, they aren't doing the major, you are. The decision is yours and yours alone. A king should be strong. He accepts counsel, but only when he asks for it. He makes clear that the final decision is his own, not his counselor's. Be the king over your college major. Do your research. Remember this. Know what you own and why you own it. What is your college education, if not an investment? Don't let a whim put you in debt. Get experience in your chosen major early. What you do in the classroom is usually a very poor indicator of what an actual career in your major will be like. Get experience as soon as possible. I have a personal experience with this where my aunt, she was actually studying to be a lawyer, and she was studying pre-law. It wasn't until she graduated and went to be a paralegal that she realized, no, this isn't what I want to do. So get that experience. You want to really know what it feels like to be in the career, not just in the classroom. Don't follow your friends. You are your own person. Here's a terrible gut-wrenching secret about you and your friends. You are different. Do you? Don't double major without a good reason. College majors are not Xbox achievements or Pokemons. You do not have to collect them all. Never stop learning, but you don't need a degree in everything. Don't wait too long to choose your major. Remember, college is an investment. Don't wait too long to buy in. Otherwise, you're buying at the top of the market, and your initial planned investment just got a whole lot more expensive. Don't choose your major based solely upon a romanticized image. Do you actually want to get your hands dirty and go and do computer engineering? Or are you just wanting to do something like the cool hackers do in the movies? Movies are a great inspiration, but remember that they are a snapshot. That cool movie with the hackers, you might see 60 seconds of actual computer work. You will actually be doing 40 hours a week of that work for many years. Change that perspective. Part of successfully reaching a destination or achieving a goal is having a clear path to follow and avoiding the pitfalls along the way.
So now what? You've had your checklist, you checked every single box. So now it's time to put hands on, and start the whole process. So visit campuses. Many of you will say, well, but I cannot travel to the States to visit a campus. I would say that the vast majority of all institutions in the United States will offer you a virtual tour. Are you able to talk to somebody? Will they have a current student that you can talk to, so you can ask many questions? Do they have like a buddy program? So once you are in the process of applying to the school, that you'll have somebody that you can always go back to, refer to. So when you get ready to apply, do you have all the recommendation letters that you need, your personal statements, all the documentation that is required, and complete your application in a timely manner. Do not procrastinate. Next slide, please. So when you think about timeline, each institution has a different timeline. Some have very hard deadlines. So this is it. So if you have not submitted those documentations, sorry, you have to defer your entrance at that university or college for the coming semester. So give yourself 12 months from start to finish. So just when you think about finishing, is you arriving in the US. So again, when you apply, there's so many different deadlines. So give yourself some time. Make sure you submit all the documentation and you apply before the published deadline. So you always be running out of time, and the additional stress of making sure that you submit all your documentation in a timely manner can be an additional burden. So how is acceptance? It depends on institutions. Some may take a couple of days, other weeks, So from 2 weeks to over 5 months. Scholarships, what do you need to do? Is there a deadline? Is there a specific document that you should submit? Then once you are accepted, you have to consider, in many schools, housing. Where will I live? Some schools, it's mandatory for you to come and live on campus as a freshman. Others are not. What about the courses? So you have to make your decision, because once you come, you are already registered. You have your classes that you have enrolled, and life begins. So many institutions will require you to confirm the US visa receipt prior to completing the housing. You cannot request for housing prior to having been granted the student visa. That's another process. So as part of your whole enrollment and acceptance, once you're accepted, all the documentations for your visa will kick in. So you have to have all your documents in order so you can have a smooth transition from application to acceptance, then to your visa process, and the final enrollment at the institution. So some of the schools will require a confirmation of payment that can be full payment or a payment plan or partial payment. And in no time, it's time to move in. August is so close, and you have to be packing and be ready to move into your new school and start a new life. So do not procrastinate.
That's good. Well, what if I change my mind? So life happens, and you can always change your mind, but first you got to check below. Is there an alternative plan? Is that change necessary? Are you not happy and want to switch your major, but not sure what to switch to? How far into your program are you? Consider taking time off for maybe an internship. Make sure that you're fully aware of what that gap term or that year will do to your financial aid package. What are the costs involved? The affordability, the better internships, their moving expenses, etc. If you're only taking a few classes, if you're only a few classes short of completing your current major, consider graduate school instead of changing that major. Don't waste a whole semester, a year trying to figure out what you really want to, are interested in choosing for that major as well. Switching institutions. So switching institutions in the same state, same system, many universities in the same university system, University of California system, University of Houston system, etc. That can be maybe a lot easier. Switching, there will be expenses involved in the switch due to the coursework requirements of the new major. Switching a major between two concentrations in the same department is a bit easier than changing colleges. Don't quit because others in the major are just quote unquote better than you. The point of going to college is to learn. So learn, right? If you decide you want to switch institutions for any reason, do the research, because not all of your hard-earned credits will transfer. Ask yourself these questions. What am I looking for in a college, in a university education? Do you know what it takes to, from start to finish, to be a doctor, to be a lawyer, to be a business owner, to what is it that you want to do? What do you need to do from start to finish? Am I able to sustain the financial commitment for 4 years? Can I just pay for the first year, or can I pay for all 4 years? Have I done enough research about the program I am planning to pursue? How will my return on my investment be for that specific career from that specific university? Will the field I am studying bring me joy? Am I doing this to please someone else, your parents, your friends? Why are you studying that? Am I thinking to do graduate studies and pursue further? You need to plan ahead and maybe think about, how am I going to afford this after I graduate and need to go to medical school? Is this realistic? What happens if my visa is denied? What will be my backup plan?
Yeah, so here's some tips for the road. Again, don't choose a major based upon income potential. Be passionate about what you plan on doing for life. Don't let others influence you too much. Of course, you can listen to different people and again talk to the ones who have the career that you are considering for yourself. Do your due diligence. It's so important for you to check all the boxes and make sure that you are prepared for a successful career. Get experience in your choose major early, if possible. Internships, volunteer. Don't follow your friends. You are your own unique person. Don't double, triple major without a good reason. As David mentioned, there's so many venues, so many different possibilities. So be wise.
It's good. And some final tips as well. You decide what is best for you. You can choose. You chose a major. Don't choose a major based on just income potential, like Christina mentioned. You do your own research and your due diligence. You are your own person. Don't follow your friends, family, and senior friends. You can select your path however you wish. Select an institution that will walk you through your career. Mapping the US education system can be overwhelming to say the least. Don't pile up on double or dual majors without a good reason. Select your major early on. Majors are quite to different to fiction to reality. You are attending university or a college to gain knowledge, life, and professional experience. You do not need to know everything. University and colleges, there is something to assist you to navigate the intricacies of applying, attending, and graduating with a college degree from the US. Have a backup plan. The US visa is not granted and guaranteed to everyone.
Okay. So let me talk a little bit about New Mexico Military Institute. I'll briefly go over what we offer. Next slide, please. So NMMI is a boarding college, preparatory high school, and a junior college. We offer from grades 9 through 12, and then also an associate's degree. Because of that, we have many possibilities for high school students to even graduate, have a dual diploma, graduating from high school and with an associate's degree in 4 years. It's very demanding, but it's possible. We focus on leadership and character development. Just think we have an average of 900 plus students on our campus, usually 51% from high school and 49% for junior college, 26% female and 74% male, and 25% of our population on campus are from 35 plus different countries. Next, please. So what makes us different? Do you have to go into the military? Do you have to be in the Army? No, that's not what NMMI is all about. We are about the leadership learning model that will enable you to acquire the skills, the knowledge, and the traits to become a leader. So you will have excellent time management skills. NMMI has been listed on the top 10% universities and colleges, and as well as high school with the highest level of accreditation in the country. So next slide, please. Because of our leadership learning model, we have a lot of experiential learning. It's really hands-on. So we have an area on our campus that's just focused on leadership development. And this is one of a couple of pictures there that you can see. Next slide, please. So as we've spoken throughout this whole presentation about concentrations, NMMI offers concentrations in different areas. So we have associate's degrees in arts and science. So you can have concentrations in art, aviation, business administration, pre-medicine, pre-engineering. So there's a very smooth process And we have a lot of partnerships, 2+2 that we call here, with other universities. So you graduate with us with your general education and concentrations in different areas, and then you are automatically eligible to be accepted at other universities. In 2 more years, you complete your bachelor's degree. Thank you.
Great. Yeah, just sharing a little bit about Oral Roberts University. At ORU, we have over 120 different countries and all 50 states represented. Last year, we had 4,163 students, 20% of them being international students. The top 5 countries were Nigeria, China, Brazil, South Korea, India, with top 5 majors being business administration, engineering, psychology, nursing, and biology. At ORU, the College of Business is one of our biggest majors. We took the major field test whenever you graduate, and we scored in the 94th percentile over 100,000 other students, 99% as far as marketing, accounting, and international business majors, 98 percentile as far as finance majors, 97 percentile for management majors, and 99% of 2020 graduates reported placement or graduate studies within 6 months after graduation, which the national average is being 81.4%. We're very proud of that statistic. So even through COVID, we had all these students, they were saying, I'm going to go back to school or I'm going to get a job. And so they all reported back to us with that. And there's a difference, just like Christina's mentioned, is that Quest difference, that Quest leadership scholarship program. Quest for wholeness. The scholarship recipients demonstrate a Christian worldview, a healthy lifestyle, a vision to make life-changing impacts on others, along with that leadership ability. So more than 6,000 students have received Quest scholarships. If not all of our international students who apply to that Quest scholarship will receive something. We do select 20 students throughout the year who apply for Quest for a full tuition scholarship. So you're automatically eligible for that, but everyone else does receive a Quest award. So that depends on how you do as far as those demonstrating that Christian worldview, those lifestyle, and academic. You can always go online to Quest. For questions for any students, and this is also our contact information.
Good. Our countries we didn't, you don't have it available. So many schools now have a way at NMMI. So yeah. So yes, you may ask questions now.
And then about the skill slide after the explanation. Do you know which one she's talking about?
Probably the skills that employers are looking for. It's our slide 21. We will be on our booth throughout the fair, so feel free to stop by and ask us questions. We'll be there to answer.
Yeah, so do you have any comments about that slide, Christina?
Well, it's just when you think about those are the top skills desired by employers. So again, communication skills, all your process, your presentation, your written, work that you will be presenting at throughout your program. Honesty, integrity. We talk a lot about plagiarism in the United States. Sometimes those concepts can be very different from country to country. So it's very important that you come and you attend orientation for new international students. There's so much that will be shared and enrich your experience while attending schools here. Teamwork skills, make yourself available, work with others, learn from others, teach others, bring all the richness of your culture into the classroom, into your social setting. Be very flexible and adaptable because things might not be just the way they are at home. So it's become open to new experience. And these are all things that employers are looking for. So the skills that you think, wow, just attending orientation, or I don't know, working in groups in school, what will like gain from that? Think about everything you do, there's a purpose, there is something behind that is a skill that's being developed. Your experience about volunteering and doing things. It does not necessarily has to be in the field that you will continue your education. In fact, I think that is a plus to try different things, to be involved in different areas that's the one besides the one you're going into. Your organization skills, time management, do not procrastinate. You will be on your own. It's time for you to mature in so many different levels. Make sure you have a planner, that you keep track of everything you're supposed to do. Submit your work in a timely manner, and be self-confident. Make sure that you know that you are capable. If you've been accepted to the school and to the program, you're absolutely skilled and things will be fine.
Yeah. The other question was, as far as Adoni's question, is this a requirement in the U.S. or international? These are just usually generally from employers, something from globally that is required. Not necessarily required to, if you don't have these skills, you can't get that job. But they do desire a lot of these skills are very basic skills after you graduate from university that you want to have a handle on self-confidence, your time management, organization skills, all the ones that Christina mentioned. There was an anonymous question as far as scholarships. If you know any more scholarships, there are external scholarships that a lot of students can go ahead and apply for, but specifically per institution that varies. So for ORU, we have academic scholarships and that Quest Whole Leader Scholarship that I was mentioning, and that really depends based off of each student. So if you would like more question, you have a specific question on what you would specifically qualify for, definitely stop at our booth. We'd be happy to answer that. Christina, you want to touch on?
Yeah, we have another question here. Do military schools teach only courses related to military science? No, we teach everything that any other regular non-military college teaches. And also you have the military experience. It is the structure that you have on our campus. You have as I said, it's a boarding school. So everybody lives on our campus, and you have a very structured day. You have a plan of the day. So every day you know exactly what's going to happen. And that really helps you with your time management skills. And also you have other classes or courses that are related to military science. But no, as I showed, we have several concentrations. So you can choose any major that you might, any career path.
Okay, thank you so much. We have about a minute left. Do you want to close out the presentation? Maybe just say some final thoughts for the students, and then we will wrap up.
I would say that, again, do your due diligence, have a checklist, and make sure you check every box. Contact us if you need any additional information. There are a couple of questions here that were unanswered, so feel free to send us email or talk to us in the chat. We wish you the very best of luck in your future endeavors, and just be prepared for the exciting journey that it is to be an international student at anywhere in the world.
Yes. Yeah, no, thanks so much for joining us today. We're so glad to have you with us. And again, if you have any questions, our emails are on the screen as well, but you can also stop by our booths and just make sure to keep everything in mind, that
Yes.
checklist, everything. Thank you.
Yes, for sure. Check out Oral Roberts University and New Mexico Military Institute in the exhibit hall. We have another about 2 hours or so for the remainder of the fair. So we're excited to see you throughout the fair. Thank you again, everyone. Bye now.
Bye.